Good morning, good morning. Looks like it's gone live. I hope you all are having a fabulous Monday. It is raining here in Southern California and it is just absolutely stunning and beautiful. It was extremely hard to climb out of bed. I'm doing the live a little bit early, and I'm also making a change. I'm putting it on my public profile versus in the group. The replays will be in the group so you can have access to them, so please check out that link in the comments below so you can join in the future. On all things mind, body, health. I am here in my car. As you can see, I'm actually at the urgent care. I had a tetanus situation that I'm getting checked out. I might get the Tdap shot. Not very excited about that, but I think I'll be fine. I'll take my little detox juice after that from Mother's. Today we are talking about last week. Actually, let's preface with that. Last week we talked about the impact of stress on our emotional state, on the mental stories that play in our head, and how they impact our behavior ultimately. And then the week before that we talked about self-care. Today we were supposed to be doing part 2 of the impact of stress, and we were going to dive in a little bit deeper into the impact of stress on the physical body. However, due to the circumstances, that's going to be delayed to another week. Today we're going to talk about how to release energy from the body. So this is going to be a quick one, and you're going to be able to walk away with a couple of tools to help you release any pent-up energy. So what happens is when we experience stressors in our life, when we experience various pressures in our life, we tend to analyze that mentally. However, we move on and we don't process the energetic component of that emotion, which then gets stored in our body. And as we discussed last week, can cause a whole bunch of issues in terms of limiting beliefs, behavior change, mental stories that play out in your mind, and just not feeling safe, and sometimes even in certain environments. And today we're going to be talking about if everybody experiences stress and pressure, how do you deal with that? What are the different modalities that you can use that are easy to use and simple to follow so that you can release stress from the body and release that pressure? I know what that feels like when you're just feeling an enormous amount of pressure just from work, life, everyday demands. I mean, honestly, I fantasize about going on a remote island like every day. You know, who doesn't want that? But at the same time, this is just our life and we can cope with it. There are things that we can do to be able to cope with life stress and pressures, because honestly, how can we see the beauty in life if we're not exposed to stress and pressure? How can we enjoy life and appreciate those good times if we don't experience tough times every once in a while? So it actually is kind of in this yin and yang kind of balance and harmony. So we know that emotions get stored in the body. We know that we process them mentally and often neglect the physical aspect of releasing energy. How do we do that? So here are 3 different ways that you can do it. Before I tell you the different ways, I'm going to tell you about my somatic breathwork experience yesterday, which was incredible. I had the pleasure of being led by Adam, which is so awesome. And it was just so wonderful. I really needed it. I had been striving to get a somatic breathwork session for a few weeks now, and just my schedule had not lined up. Finally, yesterday made it happen. So happy I did that. And I wish I recorded it, because if I recorded it, you would see that I was releasing in all kinds of ways. I was singing, I was laughing, I was crying, I was shouting, I was everything, the full spectrum. So here are 3 ways that you can release energy now. First of all is using your voice. So next time you're taking some deep breaths and you're trying to calm the nervous system down, use your voice. So using your voice is one of the most impactful ways for you to be able to release energy. Hey Sarah, thanks for popping on. Good morning. We are talking about multiple different tools that you can use today to be able to release stored energy, stored stress, and stored pressure from the body. So the first technique that we're using is going to be using your voice. So using your voice is one of the most impactful ways and effective ways to move energy out of your body. So next time you're doing some deep breathing techniques, go ahead and try sighing. So let's go ahead and kind of see what that looks like. And I want you to try to do this with me to feel the impact of it as we go along. So we're going to take a deep breath in, expanding our belly. And as we release, we're going to release with a big sigh. So, open mouth, big exhale. Okay, let's do this again. Take a deep breath in, open mouth, big exhale. Now notice you could do this without the sound and it's still going to be really effective, but notice the difference without sound and with sound. So let's do it without sound. Now let's do it once with sound. A lot of us are not used to using our sound. Hello, I noticed someone else popped on. Welcome, Mo. Thank you for joining. We are talking about tools that you can use to be able to move energy, stress, and pressure out of the body. And so the very first one that we're doing is we're using our voice. And we just did an exercise where we did a deep breath without using our voice, and then we took another deep breath and we released it with a sigh that was vocal. And you will notice a big difference. I would love to hear in the comments how that exercise felt to you, because I know it is incredible, and it's a very effective tool that you could use anytime whenever you're feeling stressed. Just go in your car, take a couple of deep breaths, and vocalize. Because what happens is when we're vocalizing, we're moving that energy out of the body and out. And here's the thing, a lot of us do not use our voice. I know a lot of people have a hard time with vocalizing in general. Maybe as a kid, your parents told you that you couldn't speak up, or they shushed you. There are various things. Maybe you grew up in a culture where your voice was not welcome. Maybe, whatever that circumstance is, which we learned about last week, how the stress and the traumas that we experience affect and impact the mental stories that play out in our head and our behavior. So perhaps examine that. If you're uncomfortable with expressing your voice and maybe sighing out loud, maybe think about why that is. Journal about what that is. And is that mental story still serving you? I would definitely recommend watching the last video to get more insight on how to be able to come to the conclusion and bring awareness to these mental stories that are playing in your head. And that is in the Mind Body Healing group. Please go ahead and check that out. Now, so vocalizing is number one. And if you're uncomfortable vocalizing, I would invite you to explore why. What's the mental story that is holding you back from vocalizing? And if you don't feel comfortable vocalizing, I would even encourage you more to vocalize, because there's something going on that is preventing you from, that's making you uncomfortable. And oftentimes the areas where we feel uncomfortable are the areas that need our attention most. Okay, so first, use your voice. Number two, What is number two? Number two is movement. Okay. So let's say this is why, like, you'll notice like animals in nature, when they experience trauma, like being hunted and be escaping, you'll notice they'll run as fast as possible. This is a physical response that as humans, we also have. However, due to society and changes to human nature, we do not exercise this physical response anymore. You will notice that animals experience a lot of trauma and they process that trauma, and then they get up on their feet and walk off completely unfazed. Why? Because they process the trauma on a physical front, which is everything that somatic breath work is about. So the next time you experience stress, I invite you to go take a run. I invite you more than just a walk. You need to actually like move your body. I invite you to like shake. I'm in my car, I can't really do it, but shake, move your body. When we move our body, we are moving stuck emotions out of the body. Hey Diana, welcome, welcome. Today we're talking about how to move stress out of the body using some really tangible techniques that you can use in your everyday life. So please go ahead and rewatch the video so you can see some of the techniques that we talked about, as they're really helpful. And do check out the last video because we talk about how the stress in the body impacts the mental stories that are running the show of every action you take every single day of your life. And Sarah, you probably know about this as a mindset coach and money coach. So yeah, wonderful. Thank you, Diana. Yes. Okay, so we're talking about the second tool, which is movement. And when you move, so we have these physical emotions that are stuck in our body and they're just there. We're just going about our day. We're moving. Yeah, we're processing it on a mental front and we just keep going, right? So now incorporate movement. So next time you're feeling stressed, go outside. You know, the best thing I would tell you to do is go do 100 jumps. 100 jumps will, I have a video on this in my Instagram, a reel on it. 100 jumps will take out any built up, anything that's built up in your lymphatic system. It will drain the lymphatic system. Hey, Abdullah, welcome, welcome. We are talking about moving energy out of the body. Go outside and do 100 jumps and check out the reel in my Instagram showing you demonstrating how to do that. And so what you're doing in this exercise, you're doing two things. One, you're draining your lymphatic system, which is improving your immune system. And two, the second thing that you're doing is you're releasing stuck energy from the body. It is incredible how the mind-body connection works and how closely our emotions are tied in with our physical body and our physical health. And when you start to put these two together, which were very out of sync and out of harmony, you're going to notice tremendous changes in your life in terms of your health and your mental well-being. And so you can move by shaking, you can go on a run, you could go do Zumba, you could dance. This is why you feel good after you dance. You start to release these endorphins. You're being free. You're letting the energy move out of your body. So try that technique next time that you do that. Now, the third thing is what I like to call is feeling dumping, okay? Emotional dumping or feeling dumping is where you have these pent-up emotions. You have no idea how to express them. Maybe you're having a hard time by expressing them verbally. Maybe you're having a hard time with vocalizing, even sighing. It might be a trigger for you because it's something you're not used to doing. Like, it might scare you. I remember I was at an acupuncturist and I was sighing out loud because I've been in a place where my voice was suppressed, but I've overcame that. And now whenever something comes up, I just vocalize it. I allow it to come out and release from my body. And so I was sighing, and this woman was extremely freaked out by my sighs. She's like, "Oh, you're scaring me." I'm like, "I'm just sighing, lady. Have needles in my body. I'm just moving the energy out." So you can use the vocalization, you could use the movement, and then if those two areas are a little bit challenging for whatever reason, try emotional dumping, word dumping. This is an exercise that I teach my clients, and what it is basically you have these emotions, you don't know what to do with them, and you need to release them. You get a pen and paper. This is the easiest way to do it. And without any kind of logic, you write down every single word that pops into your mind. Okay? Let's try it. Right now, I'm gonna word dump to you, okay? It's not gonna make any kind of sense. I'm feeling sad. I'm feeling confused, frustrated, humbled, happy. And notice how the words change. This is a really incredible exercise, because as you start to write down what you're feeling, and it doesn't need to make any sense. Every day we are trying to make sense out of every single thing. Take a step back. It doesn't have to make sense. Your body is extremely intelligent, and it wants to heal. It wants to be in a state of harmony. It wants that mind-body balance. But you have to take a step back and allow it to do its thing. And under the right conditions, it will. So take that analytical hat off and actually connect and do a word dump. Write down all the feelings, and then you will notice that as you write these, usually keep it into like 1 or 2 words. Okay? Don't write out like an essay. Just write words. It doesn't need to make sense. And then once you're done, you're going to notice the transition in your words from negative feelings into positive ones. Notice how mine shifted. I went from confused and sad into harmony and balance. How did that happen? Let me explain. So what happens is, as you start to clear out the negative emotions, now you're creating space for how you really want to feel and how you truly, what you truly align with. When you get rid of the confusion, the sadness, the hurt, the anger, the guilt, the shame, whatever those feelings are, you create space for joy, happiness, peace, calm. That's who you truly are on the inside. But it's cluttered. There's all this shit in the way. So clear it out, and then you're aligned with who you are. So peace. Thank you so much for visiting today. Check out the videos from last week. Join Mind Body Healing Group, and please be sure to check out the event on 2/11. It's a virtual somatic breathwork event. I'll put all the links in the chat. Thank you. Have a wonderful day. Mwah.